I did 5 weddings. The following year, I did 10 weddings. Prior to COVID-19, I did over 70 weddings. My starting point is like $10,000. During the ceremony, we're all rolling. The groom walked down the aisle. The bride was walking down the aisle, and then she stopped in the middle of the aisle, and then she turned back.
Wow.
I was shocked. I was like, wait, did she forget something?
This podcast show is about celebrating the creatives, people who have paid their dues, people who have gone the extra level to create something beautiful.
Albert Einstein once said, "If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough."
Welcome to the show. Today's guest is someone whose journey closely mirrors mine, and I'm really excited for this conversation. Back in 2014, when I left paid employment to pursue entrepreneurship, he did the same. While I stayed back in Nigeria to build a business, he moved to the United States and went on to build one of the most successful wedding video production companies in Miami. And if you've watched that stunning wedding video of Davido and Chioma in the US, then you've already seen his work. If you're a filmmaker in the wedding space looking to move to the next level and build a respected brand, you don't want to miss this. Joining me on the show today is filmmaker and founder of Brigs Group, Eniola Olamide. I'm your host, Elekwachi. Let's get to it. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, my guy.
We both took a leap of faith in 2014. What was going through your mind when you decided to resign your work then and move to the US?
Good question. So when I moved out of Nigeria back in 2014, I actually traveled. I think I traveled in 2011 and 2013. But I traveled twice to just kind of like learn, the industry. I went for a conference in California back then, American Film Markets, just to kind of like speak to a lot of filmmakers and the people in the industry to understand the industry as well, and then to strategize and figure out like what industry am I trying to dive into, because my background obviously is in documentary filmmaking. When I transitioned to the United States, I ended up going into wedding filmmaking based on my documentary background. So I wouldn't say I wasn't scared. At that point, I was definitely scared, but I just have faith, and I have this growth mindset that I know like whatever I set my mind to, is gonna happen.
Because I kind of remember back then though, and then I think you came one day and then you brandished your passport when with the American visa. And I'm like, Andy has collected the US visa. I should go and get mine too, until I got bounced like twice. And that gets to tell you about
consistency,
timing.
Yes.
You see, you find that a lot of people try to, trail other people's path. Mm-hmm. But except you are destined for that path and accept it is time, it will be impossible.
Yes.
Because the trajectory of my life would have been different if we had gone together then.
Exactly.
Because the plan was for us actually to go together. You remember?
To start a production company.
Yeah, and then move from there. So looking back.
Yes.
What was the moment you knew this was the path for you to follow? Because even though a lot of people were in media, they weren't really sure.
Yes.
But for you recognized and be like, okay, I think this is the path that I needed to follow, and then you went on that path. When was the moment for you?
Honestly, I did many things, as you already know. I have a finance background, studied banking and finance, and then at some point too, I knew I was creative, but I didn't know where to channel the energy. And then, I don't know if I told you, remember I was in a music group with my brother back then.
Sing me one of your songs.
Okay, sure. So our group was called Amazing Guys. It was me, my brother, and one of his friends. We're doing, I guess it's Afro beats.
Yeah.
When Two-Face...
Who are you guys looking to be like?
Two-Face, Tony Tetula, we always do like an opening act for them when they perform.
Really?
Yes.
You guys went that far?
Yes.
You didn't tell me that part of you, man.
Sure. We performed at Fela Shrine with Two-Face back then. We had picture with him and stuff like that. But for me, I knew I was creative, but even though I was writing some of the songs, I wasn't fulfilled. But I knew, my part was in that area. So I remember, God bless OJB Jezreel. He shot one of our video And then when we went to his studio in Surulere back then to preview the first cuts that he did for us, and then I saw some of the editors working on computer. A lot of the stuff was analog back then. We don't have like Final Cut and all of this stuff. So when I saw the editor moving, the mouse and doing stuff, I was intrigued by that. And then I think that was the moment I knew, like, you know what? Even though I'm very extrovert, I'm still introvert. You understand? And when I saw that guy, I was like, what about if I'm behind the scenes, but I'm producing great stuff? That was the moment I knew, like, this was my part. And then, I decided to challenge myself, went to New York Film Academy, went to some film school in Nigeria too before I left. And then, it just took on from there. And we always say, like, great editors are the best filmmaker, So,
absolutely.
I started as an editor and then, transitioned into actually making film and producing documentaries and stuff. So, yeah.
Oh, that
was when I knew.
You were destined for that.
Yes.
That's cool. Leaving Nigeria, packing your bags and saying, you know what, I'm done. What were the first couple of weeks? How much did you have in your pocket? How long would that have taken you? And what were your plans?
So, such an interesting question. I remember when prior to me moving to the United States, I've saved a lot of, money. And I think I sold my car too. I was driving. We both had a Toyota Highlander.
Yeah, true.
So I sold my car. I had a lot of money, and then I paid for school to New York Film Academy, which was in South Beach, in Miami. And then at least I budgeted for 6 months. I had enough money to last me for 6 months, but it didn't go the way I planned because my research did not touch all the flexing I was going to do. So I remember the first week I traveled was in Miami. I was partying every night, going to club and spending the money. And before you know it, in like 2 weeks, my bank account was emptied.
Wow.
Because I was just spending, I was just splurging. Where I was staying too, I think I was paying like $400 a week back then, which is like, per week, which is like $1,200 every month. So in 2014, that was a lot of money. Wasted a lot of money under 2 weeks. Then I had to now go back to drawing board and say, hey, how am I going to make money? Even though I actually paid my tuition fee like upfront. I did a lot. I worked at a restaurant. I remember I worked at this popular restaurant in Miami called Mama Sherry, and I worked there for.
What were you doing?
I was serving food now.
Bartending.
I'm telling you.
Serving food.
I was serving food. I think I worked there for like a week or two.
How much are they paying you?
Nothing to, because at that time I didn't have paper. They're like, oh, you don't have paper. We're just going to give you money under the table.
Under the table.
Yeah, so worked there for like a week or two. I was ashamed too. I was like, imagine, me that I left Nigeria, big boy.
To watch
I came to and I was like, even at that time, my old boss was calling me back like, you don't have to go to America. You can stay here. I will even double your salary. Part of those things actually made me want to like say, you know what, let me actually
go back.
Also and go back. But I was doubting myself because I left my return ticket open. So I kept extending it. I kept calling those people. I'm like, no, I'm still going back to Nigeria. So leave it open. I kept extending my travel plan. But at some point, I just like, you know what? I'm already in it. Why do I want to give up now? I always tell people like, don't give up. You can do it. You can do it. So, got my refund back from the airline. That got me a little bit of money too. Left the restaurant because I wasn't paying a lot. Did car wash. I did that for 3 days. My back hurt as fuck. I was like,
you did car wash for 3 days,
bro. I thought that shit was easy. So
I know Americans, they like big trucks, big cars.
I'm telling you. So I did that for like 3 days, and then I connected with somebody that got me a government work. That's when I was able to like help myself out financially, saving some money, and then I opened my business, and then I started from there. So it wasn't easy. But, I thank God. God was with me. I had faith as well. So, yeah.
What were those few first months and years like? trying to establish yourself in the US in the film scene? So,
Okay, at the initial stage, it was very, very challenging and it was very tough. I remember the first year I started my company in Miami. I was hoping back then that I was going to do a lot of weddings. I ended up shooting like just 2 weddings in 1 year.
Wow.
So, it was discouraging at first, but I'm like, I just have to push. And then the next year I did, I think about 5 weddings. The following year, I did 10 weddings. And then it just started picking up from there. And then I remember, I think prior to COVID-19, I did over 70 weddings in 1 year.
70?
Yes.
Wow.
I was moving from one state to another. Like, I would literally have wedding from Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Like, back to back. Sometimes I would even travel to another state after a wedding, no shower, go to another state, already in work clothes. And then me and my team were traveling like all over United States, for weddings. So, at first it was challenging, and also that's the power of consistency, I just kept doing it because I knew that that's what I wanted. I was very passionate about it. I was very ruthless. I was like, this is what I want and I'm going for it. I don't care if it works out or not. It happens.
So what did you do differently from doing 4 weddings to doing 70 weddings? What did you do differently?
I think one of the first thing is like the transition from Nigeria actually helped me. Working with someone like you, working with one of the guys I used to work with before, working with people like that made me understand the power of structure. The first year was rough because, starting my own company, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't have enough structure. But I remember telling myself, at least I got 2 weddings first year. Now let me start, putting in structure, automating a lot of stuff, and then I remember like the following year, I remember there was a time I used to send my invoice with Photoshop. If I have a client, I'll go into Photoshop and then type in manually and, put in the data. And then if you know how to use Photoshop, you know how hard it is to actually build an invoice. So obviously that was the only thing I was exposed to, but learning, making research, working with people like you, having mentors too. They're like, oh, you can actually automate your invoice. You can actually hire an assistant. You can actually hire this person. So, but back then I was like, I'm not making any money. How am I going to hire all these people? So they were like, at least you can even partner or, go to schools or get interns and do, all of this stuff. So I had to go back to drawing board because United States is different. Nigeria, you can finesse your way and get things happen. But maybe not now, not anymore. Now you even have to have more structure in Nigeria. But United States is different. You have to talk about like your taxes. Your company has to be registered correctly so that they don't come for your audits and stuff like that. So I had to put in a lot of structure back then, and that's what actually helped me, transition to be a better person. Then I was exposed to this CRM company called 17 Hats on a book. Having using that, our contract is automated, invoice is automated. Like you can literally send your contract in like 2 seconds. Maybe on a book and 17 Hats will pay me for that. But yeah, so just continuous learning actually helped me to structure my company and be able to navigate a lot of this stuff.
That's cool. So I think you have shared a story with me before because wedding is a very tricky thing, and people can decide last minute that they are no longer doing. You spoke about a particular bride that changed her mind midway. Tell me about it. How did it happen from like the beginning to how everything played out?
Well, so the moment you hire Brigs Group, we have a consultation with you, obviously. We check if we have your data available. And then we try as much as possible to learn about the couple as well, have a Zoom call with them. Beautiful couple. They seem to love to me. They share our story, we understand their story, so that way we're able to better tell their story because their love stories already been written. Every couple have different journey.
Oh, okay, their journey. So they share their journey.
Yeah,
okay.
They share their journey with us so we can better tell their story, because every couple is unique. So we had a consultation with them, got the deposit, secure the clients, got the deposits, and my balance is usually due like 2 months prior to your wedding. For the sake of this type of question, because by the time, if something happened after your wedding, I don't have time to be, holding this, the couple or whatever. So they shared their story with us, and then, the date was set. We showed up for the wedding. For me, I kind of already gauged the bride because she wasn't like responding to what I'm used to. I already knew like there's something happened, but I didn't know, what was going on because I tried not to. I'm just there for a wedding. What I want to do on your wedding day is to make it fun, make it enjoyable, make you happy, so that way, your video can also come out beautifully. But she wasn't responding well. Even me, I had to like, are you okay? Is everything good? She was like, oh yeah, I'm okay. I'm like, today's your wedding day. Just have to be happy. Things are gonna happen, Meanwhile, what actually happened is more than things are gonna happen. So, they ended up like, I think the groom to be ended up going out the night before, and then I heard like he probably invited some ex or whatnot, And I remember they flew in from Nigeria to Miami to actually get married. So for you to go extra mile to invite her, an ex that lives in Nigeria to Miami, that's gone far. Good. So I imagine that the bride to be found out what happened, and then So during the ceremony, we're all rolling. Photographers taking picture. The groom walked down the aisle. The bridesmaid, the bridal party walked down the aisle. And then the bride was walking down the aisle. And then she stopped in the middle of the aisle. And then she turned back.
Wow.
And then the ceremony actually ended up abruptly.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was shocked. I was like, wait, did she forget something? Or her makeup wasn't complete or something happened.
Wow.
Yeah, so it ended up like she found out like, the groom-to-be was messing with someone else like a day prior to their wedding. Wow. Yeah, they were able to, finesse her to carry on. Then during the reception, she wanted to grab the mic and give a speech. They were like,
no.
You're not giving any speech.
Because she's not going to say anything that might be meaningful.
Even me, my mind was like racing when she said she wanted to give a speech. I was like, are you guys going to let this happen?
Please don't give any speech.
Yeah, so it was kind of disaster.
Wow, that must have been a very weird
Even me, it was intense. I was traumatized, because for me, I've been talking to them during the consultation stage to that.
The actual due date.
Yeah, so it was crazy.
But it's amazing that you kind of sensed it before that day.
Yeah. Because, part of what we
Maybe
do,
she's been suspected anyway.
Yeah, you might think you're just a creative, but we're also spiritual, right? I'm saying that to say you for you to be a creative, we're involved in everything, even the energy in the room. You have to read your clients and sense their energy to be able to bring out the best in them. And your energy also matters to them, you know what I mean? So for me, when I walk into the room and I see a bride, I want to make her feel good, make her pumped so that way she can give me a great energy.
I think that's kind of what we get from, producing documentaries, because you are meeting people for the first time and you have only 2 days to be in their space. You're a stranger after all. So it takes a lot for them to open up to you, except they kind of warm up to you and
connect. Yeah,
it makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's look through some of your work, some of your amazing work. Let's see this one.
Albert Einstein once said, "If you can't explain it simply, you don't understand it well enough."
Wow, where was this?
Oh, this was in Utah, Amanjiri.
Oh,
yeah, that's
this is the Utah you spoke about earlier?
Yeah.
How did you guys get on this mountaintop?
Well, we walked there.
You walked there.
We hiked it.
You guys must. The location is mad, but I mean, climbing up to this place.
Yeah.
You guys, man.
And I think that's one of the things that also make us unique. You have to be hardworking. For you to be successful, you have to be hardworking. A regular cinematographer would just be like, "Oh, let's put them here," but we did the work. To actually make sure we put them. We had the vision, and yeah.
Wow. So they came to you guys having this location in mind already?
Yes. And then we had to did recce, scouts the place.
So you went there ahead or you digitally did
No, we
the recce?
digitally did the recce, and the place is
So
expensive.
tell me about this particular client and how you met them and then building together the story and convincing them. How long did that even take?
So I think they found me on Instagram, reached out to me. They were like, "Oh, we're looping at this venue." When I saw the venue, I was like, "Oh, this is mind-blowing. I wouldn't even mind shooting your wedding for free."
Today, I am marrying my best friend, my soulmate, and the love of my life.
They paid in full
We are only limited
as
by
well.
our
And then, we did a consultation and we scout the place. And usually when we're doing the destination like that, we always encourage the client also to make sure we get there like maybe 2 days prior to their event so that way we're on site to look at the places we want to film as well. So, yeah, that's usually the process, yeah.
That's so cool. So what has worked for you? Putting together a quote for production or packages. What has worked best for you, or what's your process like?
Usually for wedding, I usually advise people just have a set rate, and if your clients want to do something additional, then you can now add to that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but I have a starting point, and I have a set rate.
How expensive or how affordable are you compared
I'm very
to
very affordable.
Why? But for the quality of video that you
Yeah,
produce,
I
people
know.
will expect that you're very
Yeah,
expensive.
compared to some of my friends, like this guy Ray Roman, he's in the US, one of the top cinematographer as well. Yeah, he charges a lot. I need to be on his level, and that's one of the things that we're also working towards.
So when you say a lot, like a range,
At least he charged minimum of $30,000 for a wedding.
well, how much do you charge for a wedding?
My starting point is like $10,000, which is nothing.
How do you mean 10,000?
Yeah.
Nigeria, Malo, am I?
As a client now.
That's cool. All right, let's look at another one. Oh no, I've seen this one. Which one is this
This
one?
one is in Cali.
Wow. Oh shit. What drone was that?
I think it's a Mavic
Mavic Pro 3?
3, yeah.
Yeah, because I know with the 2 you can't really shoot at night.
Shoot at
like
night,
that.
yeah. So this client, my name is Ashley. She was actually in one of the Netflix series, DIY People.
Wow. Wow, look at that. Oh boy. Even for free, man, I'm gonna shoot here. just chill there for a day or two. What? Wow. I like that you have a process and it works. So you don't have to sit down and start individually grading any of these clips. You just apply your template and that's
An
it.
adjustment layer.
Wow. How many videographers did you have on this?
So on this project I had 4.
4.
Four cinematographer.
Why 4?
Yeah, because one is also depends on the guests. I think they have about 200 guests.
Oh.
And there's a lot of moving parts,
So
at this
they
wedding.
brought how many people to this location? Because it seemed like an isolated location.
Yeah, it's in LA, yeah.
Wow. And they brought 200 people here. Wow. This is nice.
Ashley suggested that he meet us at the restaurant before Daryl arrived.
Because I know that for most people, they have the A camera that covers the main event. They now have the B cameras that handles, say, cutaways and B-roll and all of that. Then they now have a C camera that they use for cinematic estabs. The same person also does drone, and the same person also does B-roll. Is that the same thing for you?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Yes, that's the same thing that we do. But the way everybody is trained on my team, if you find yourself in any situation, you have to be able to do it. Let's say, for instance, the B camera is where A camera is supposed to be. Even though we have radio that we talk to each other on the phone, the moment B camera is there, B camera should be able to do what A camera is doing. So everybody is set up like the masters. You get what I'm saying? But there's a lead cinematographer, obviously, which is me sometimes, and then the other people that is trained. So basically, all the team are like A camera, if that makes sense.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But then, you mentioned training a lot, training your team, training people on your, people that are working with you. So you have a production in, let's say, somewhere where you've never been before, and you're working with a local cinematographer there. What kind of training would you provide to such person to be able to produce consistent material with what you're used to?
You mean the local person? So basically, I still have them use my camera, which I ask them like, what type of camera are they familiar with? If they say, oh, they're familiar with Sony or Canon, I tell them, hey, I have a Canon camera, and then I tell them the spec, and if they say, yeah, they know how to use it, they use my camera. So my picture profile is already set up.
Do you have your picture profile on the camera?
Yeah.
So you upload your own picture profile on the camera?
On the camera. So if I'm working with the local people are just like a backup. For instance, right? Except if I find someone that is good, then I can actually trust them. I'm still bringing my team, not just as much. Like there was a time I have wedding in Portugal and Italy back to back. So I was in Portugal. I sent 2 of my team to Italy to be there just in case anything happened with my flight. So I have 2 of my team that knows our standard and our process, just in case I'm not able to make it. But I have a local guy there as a third camera. So that wedding is already covered pretty much, but when I made it, the local person now becomes like a backup.
Like an assistant on the production.
Yeah, so that's usually how I,
So you always make room for contingencies. Wow, that's sweet.
Yeah.
So this looks like you shot into the night. Wow, these locations are beautiful.
Oh, this one is
this
in New York.
Come on, they are all cinematic and they look great. So here, these are all natural lighting, right?
Yeah, natural lighting. Yeah.
So do you normally will light a couple of your scenes? Because for instance, here I see that the lights fall quite well. So you have a key light coming from here, and then you have a rim light coming from here, and you have a bit of negative on this side, which makes this really cinematic. I know the sun can come from 2 ways. If the sun is coming from here, then you have a good key. Except you have maybe like a bounce or something around here. How did you film this one?
Yeah, so, as a cinematographer, one of the basic things is to understand lighting. So when you understand lighting, you know how to position your couple. You get what I'm saying? So we're shooting like towards the this side, right, of the frame. We've already seen that, the direction that the light is coming
from
is better. Even though if I point the camera, I can show you a frame there where you point the camera to this other side. This other side had a better background, but because of the lighting, we're able to, it's just understanding your lighting, pretty much. And this, we didn't even use ND filter for any of this shot.
Wow. But do you shoot with ND filters?
Sometimes.
Because I know it can be time, but I know we spoke about it
once.
Yeah.
Actually, when it's wedding,
yeah, because there's a lot of moving parts and you can't stop. You just have to, chase things. Oh, this is beautiful.
So
did you light this place?
Yeah, this was lit. You can see that the flowers are like these a little bit isolated.
Lights.
Yeah, this is natural light. Yeah, these are natural lights.
Where is it now? Okay. Oh, come on, this is beautiful.
Yeah, and you can see the frame. Like for me, a lot of my video, even if you do a still picture of it. And that's what makes a cinematic video. You need to be able to pause the video and get a good picture out of it. That's when you know like you're actually shooting a cinematic. If you look at this frame, for instance, it still gives you a nice picture. If you move forward, they still give you a nice picture.
What f-stops do you typically shoot in, and what kind of lenses?
Well,
in terms of focal length.
Yeah, one of my favorite lenses 24 to 70 because obviously double
it's a
ring.
Versatile lens,
And then most parts 85 and then the 50 1.2. I have the 85 1.2 as well with a cool nice.
But do you
depth.
shoot at 1.2?
Well, I usually shoot my toast in 1.2. So let's say for instance, let's go to where this girl is giving a speech. Yeah, so you can see this was shot in 1.2, for instance.
Yeah, I can see that like, you knocked down.
Yeah, we isolated her.
Background.
Yeah, just to make sure you can see that there are people in the background, but she's isolated for you to focus on the subject. So yeah,
good.
So most of the time we understand the type of lens, and that's what I realized about a lot of cinematographers that are coming up. They don't understand the right lens.
The lenses, yes.
The lenses to use at a particular situation.
I love what you said that every frame is cinematic, and that's actually indeed true.
Yeah.
So for instance, where this guy walks towards the camera in this room, you had light.
Yeah, there's a light coming. There's a natural light coming.
So this is not from the window.
All these lights are from the window.
Oh,
so there's a natural light on this side. So we can create like a film look. There's no window on this side.
Oh yeah, because I can see the negative feel from this side. So typically on most film sets, they'll have like a black around this area. But it looked like you had it by default, and it comes from experience.
You have to understand.
Being able to pick out the right spot in the room, and it makes it look like it was blacked out, but there was no flag.
Yeah, and you see every frame, it's a picture.
Absolutely, I agree. Totally. Wait, this one, how long did it actually take you guys to get to where you are going?
So how long did it
Yeah, because I see this long drive. It looks like it
a while. So to get to the hotel off the highway is like, I think like 7 miles to actually get to the hotel.
From the highway?
From the highway.
Wow, these are beautiful locations, man.
Yeah.
Damn. I took the wristwatch. See, from the time lapse. No, this is beautiful. So you had like someone is singing for them. Is that an actual music?
Yeah.
Oh
no, you mean the sound that was on? No, it wasn't
person
an
performing.
No.
So you guys just added that as an extra.
Sound, yeah.
I mean, the lady that was playing, was she actually playing to entertain them, or she was playing for camera?
No. She was playing to entertain them.
So they were dancing while she was playing?
Yeah.
Wow. But did you use the sound from what she was playing?
No, I didn't. But in their full video, I did.
You did?
Mm-hmm. This is the teaser.
Ah, come on. This is beautiful.
They don't know it yet, but our future children are going to love you as much as I do.
Oh.
With you, Josephine, I feel like I can finally begin.
Sweet. Brigs Group Media Films.
They don't know.
Number one.
They don't know.
Number one.
They don't know.
Wow. Each location tells a story. And I love how you cover them. It's beautiful.
Thanks, man.
Experience this new milestone with us, and to party with us, and to just go through this new life change with us, and to be so excited and genuinely happy for our union.
So how many of these people end up engaging you again after this first engagement? Because I imagine they're going to go on to have kids and anniversaries.
Yeah, so
baby
actually
showers.
just last month, the wedding I shot in Portugal, the guy invited me again for their baby shower.
Wow, look at
Yeah,
that.
and then we just delivered the video. So that's like
You must have been
return
very
clients.
happy with what you guys did
Absolutely.
before, and that's what you've said about being the best at what you do and staying consistent. How do you manage your team to work globally?
Based on the fact that I've been in the industry for quite a while, I've been able to plant my roots in different states and country. So I'll give you an example. Even though I have my own in-house team that will travel around the world together, most of the time I reach out to like local cinematographer that I know like they have the best of the best work as well. So I partner with them locally. Let's say, for instance, I'm going to Italy, for instance, and I have a wedding in Portugal as well. So what I do is I send 2 of my in-house team to work with a local cinematographer in Portugal, and I do the same thing in Italy as well. So anytime I have a wedding, I try to connect with local filmmaker to make the job easier for us, because sometimes, you might have a team of 10. You don't want to like bring all your 10 team to another country. So it's always good to do your research, connect with local filmmakers so that they can also help you like execute some of this project. And also the good thing about that is they understand how to navigate, because I remember there was a venue that we shot at in Italy, and they were like, oh, we can fly drone and stuff. But the fact that I have a local team there, he was able to understand their language and speak to them, and they were able to let us, fly the drone. So imagine if I'm just Brigs
there by
myself, they'll be like, oh, you can fly it and you can fly
and that's it.
Yeah, so I think it's important to also, connect with local people wherever you go in the world. You could be in Lagos, connect with local cinematographer in Ogun State that know what they're doing, so that whenever you have a project, you can always reach out to them and they can, help you out.
Power of collaboration.
And I think that's one of the things I also did with Davido's wedding, where I have like people like what's his name, MCE Film and Duro. We connected with them locally, and we're like, hey, we're coming to Nigeria. They help us with like, even getting security and cars, and so they understand the Lagos wedding industry. So we trusted them enough to like, hey, let's partner together and work, because at the end of the day, it's not competition. It's
It's
we all win
collaboration.
together. It's all collaboration. So yeah.
That's sweet. Tell me about some of the big names that you've worked with. For Neo, for instance, how do you get to work with him?
Oh, so I would say the first thing is there's something I call in my book called Power of Connection. I've worked with some major wedding planner that connects me with some of the high-profile people. Sometimes I don't even know them directly, or they don't even reach out to me directly. It's more of like, the people that have trusted me, that I've worked with in the past, that say, you know what, the only guy we can trust to do this job is Brigs Group Media, is Eni. So yeah. And I've worked with quite a lot of celebrities, Neo, Dwayne Wade, Portia, Mookie Betts, and a lot of NFL players as well. So yeah.
Looks like you did stuff for Davido.
Yeah. Also, yeah, I did a Strat wedding in Lagos. So Davido's connection actually came through one of my my partner, my friend that we work together. He's a photographer, Stanley Photography. So I think Chioma reached out to Stanley Photography, and then they wanted photo and video. And then Stanley was like, the only person I understand that we work together is Eni. So that's how I was able to jump on that project. Yeah.
What's your approach when you're about to film a wedding of a high-profile client?
So my approach to filming an high-profile wedding client is, basically like, I do a lot of research. I think that's the ultimate, and I bring in my A game. Even though I bring in my A game for all my clients, even celebrity and non-celebrity, but I try to get as much help as needed on the day of. No help is pointless. That's what I would say. I get as much team as I can, so that way, the day is more, much easier. But for me, for the most part, I did the research. I already know what I want to do prior to the wedding or prior to filming. It's like I have obviously we have a team. We have a team huddle. We have a team meetings where we, discuss, the positions, who is doing what, the lighting guy, the cinematographer, and the audio guy who is in charge of audio, who is in charge of, setup, assistants, and all of that stuff. So we do meetings, and, we lay out the storyboard as well. Even though most of the time when you're doing this high-profile wedding, they give us like a storyboard of what, based on their storyboard, we use that to create our own mood board as well to, to be able to film. So
So
Yeah.
you have storyboard and mood board for
Yeah, so
all your weddings?
Yeah, so we have mood board and storyboard as well. Yeah.
Wow, interesting. So you don't do like run and gun? Because ultimately
Honestly,
the event is going to be run and gun,
Yeah,
but
so
you have a guide.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, weddings usually like there's a template for wedding. We kind of, because we've been in the industry for a long time, we already kind of know like what will happen. But it's also good to actually have a base, which is the mood board, a plan. All right, if this doesn't work out, what is our plan B? You know, because you can't just film wedding and say, oh, it's run and gone. Let's just film it based on the fact that you already have experience or you already know. Yeah. At least, you know, during the consultation, we know the vibe of the couple, we know what they like. So based on that, we use that to create a storyboard and mood board to be able to, you know, tackle the events.
Oh, that's sweet. Tell me about the places around the world where you filmed, or the most interesting place you filmed.
Oh, I think we've been to a lot of beautiful places. We've been to Italy, for instance. We shot in Lake Como. I would say Lake Como is very beautiful, even though it's expensive. Greece was nice too. I've shot a wedding in Dubai. I've shot a wedding in Namibia as well. I think one of the most interesting places that I went to was Utah, Manjiri. There's an hotel in Manjiri that we went to film a couple for their elopement. Beautiful wedding. I think from the airport, they took us with chopper to the events. I'll ask you guys to just look up the hotel. This is not 5-star. This is like 20-star hotel. Beautiful service, expensive, but the location is very beautiful. It's, I think it's the north side of Utah. Yeah, very interesting, very, very beautiful wedding.
So, how many countries in total would you say you filmed in?
I've been to a lot of
20?
I think more than 20. I've been to a lot of countries. I've been to Italy. I've been to Greece. I've been to Dubai. I've been to Morocco. I've been to Saudi Arabia. I've been to Germany. I've been to Iceland. I did an engagement shoot in Iceland. A lot of countries. Oh, Mexico as well. Okay. Yeah, Mexico. Yeah.
Oh, nice. How are you able to maintain consistency in your videos? Do you have camera preference or particular settings?
So that's a very good question. For me, I know in the past, I work with a couple of production company in Miami, where I find out like, they shoot wedding with like different cameras. So you can have one wedding, for instance, and they have one cinematographer have a Canon, and then another one is using Panasonic, and another one is using Sony. So for me, and then they bring back the files to me, and then I'm not able to like match all the picture profile. For me, that was a lesson, right? And that, I'm like, how using like different type of camera. So what I've done from that is to maintain the same camera. If you're using Sony, all the 3 cinematographers are using Sony, so that we can match the picture profile together. So it's easier for the editor that is going to actually working on it. And to answer your question, I was able to also maintain the consistency by having an in-house team, in-house production. I have like some of my friends in the US that have company, and then source out their editing to Indian and all this other company because it's cheap. And then when they get the video back, it's like they just put like some weird song because they don't understand the story. Imagine giving an Indian person a Nigerian wedding, for instance. No matter how much you prep them and send them the music, they still don't understand the culture. So what we try to do is like we have like creative director in-house that understand this, and they sit with editors, and then we're able to execute and make sure like we have quality control for all our videos. Because if you watch any of our videos, so the stories are different, but the quality is the same across the board, even if you're doing like documentary or TV commercials. So yeah,
that's sweet. So it looks like you picked experience from your first job when you arrived in the US. It looks like you started with editing first.
Yes.
Because you did mention about working on a project where they had different cameras. Tell me about that moment and that time, because it looked to have played some significant effect in your moving forward.
Yeah, so, like every other Nigeria that goes to like diaspora, for instance, at least the first couple of months, you're still like trying to figure out your on
Your face.
yourself, and I was so happy that, I'm a creative, so at least I already have an industry. Some people, they're creative, they just do braids, and the minute they get to the US, at least the first 6 months, they're doing braids to actually at least make money and stuff. But for me, I went on Craigslist, reach out to production companies and tell them and show them my work and say, hey, this is what I do. If you need an editor, if you need someone that, can help you. I do graphics, I do animation. I'm sure you know that as well.
Absolutely.
If you want graphics, if you want animation, I do all sorts. So I work with different production company. Even though they were not paying me as much, but at least at that point, that was able to sustain me to buy my first camera, because I took some of my camera from Nigeria to, I remember back then, I think I have a Canon 6D or 60D.
Wow.
So that was the only camera I have, And then prior to that, I connected with some Nigerians too that have club. I'll go to club and take pictures and, do videos for them and stuff like that, because I already have it. So I might as well, make some money. And then that's how I was able to, build from scratch. So moving from Nigeria to be oh, Eni, you are, badass, to another humble beginning. And then I was able to navigate my, my journey, to become who I am today. So, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So let's settle it once and for all. Canon or Sony, which would be your
my
preference
guy.
and why? For weddings especially.
So for wedding, honestly, I'm going to be honest, right? When I started wedding back in 2014, I was actually using Sony. But for me, I will say it's a personal preference. For me, I wasn't able to get the quality and the type of look that I wanted with Sony at that point. So I had to transition to Canon. So Canon was easier for me. The dynamic range was great because I could pull the colors and it's not breaking, So right now I'm using Canon.
Good.
But based on the FX3 and what Sony has been doing lately with their color, I think I'm considering changing back to Sony, because obviously the files are light as well. Very, Canon takes a lot of space. When you're shooting C-Log or you're shooting 4K, 5 seconds might be 2 gig.
Wow.
Yeah, so my
So you
rate
need a lot
is
of
filled
storage,
up. So you need a lot of storage. So now I'm thinking maybe I'm going to transition into
Sony.
Yeah, even though I figured out some Sony lots as well, because I usually create my own lot. So yeah.
Oh, nice. So talking about creating your own lot, and talking about doing 10 videos in a month, it looks like you have a system working for you in terms of how you process your videos. Share some with us. Hopefully someone can learn.
So basically what I always tell production guys when you're starting out is to not just, jump into the water. Before you go into the water, make a research. Talk to people who are already in the industry so they can at least guide you, because, there's new camera coming out every day, and people think your power relies on the type of camera that you use. It doesn't actually.
No, it doesn't.
It's not about the gear that you have. You find out people are shooting with phone now, and they're even better than the people who are
who have the big cameras.
Yeah. So to my point, you want to build a system, which is what I have. So majorly I shoot C-Log 3 based on the lots that I created, right? I shoot C-Log 3 all I. If you use Canon, you understand what I'm saying. I know this is for creative, so I don't want to go deep into it. So I shoot all I already have my lots, all my production, the graphics, the color grading, the audio design, everything is done in Final Cut. So I didn't just create the lots. I also create audio presets, whereby if I have a bad audio, if I just had Brigs audio presets, it cleans up
audio preset in case you want a copy. Available for purchase.
I know, right? It cleans up the audio. So I've been able to take some months to create all those lots and then my workflow, so that way, if I have 20 weddings in 1 month, we are able to upload, edit up until files. So when we're shooting wedding, for instance, immediately we finish before we shoot a wedding, we already create a file, we already create dates, folders, and everything. So as soon as we're done with, filming, we, copy everything. Project has already been created. Template has already been created. Sometimes we even do same day edits at the wedding.
Wow.
Yeah, so everything is already pre-planned. So that's part of planning. Yeah, you just have to plan, create a structure, and yeah.
Wow, that's sweet. I hope anyone has caught something, learned something.
Okay.
What would you say is the biggest difference between being a good filmmaker and running a successful video business?
When you say video business,
a filmmaker is someone who's very passionate about their art.
Yeah.
But
video business is a money
video
part.
business is someone who's looking to monetize their art.
Yes. All right. So I always tell creative, right? You can be very creative, but at the same time, you need to understand the business side of video. I know some of my friends that are stuck in their creativity. The creativity will bring you money, but you might not survive if you don't understand the business part of it. You understand what I'm trying to say? So some people are like, you know what? If you put this flower in front of your camera, it will give you one type of depth of field, and all of that is good. But if you don't understand the business, like connecting with people that will actually give you like major production, major work, you're just gonna be creative. You understand what I'm trying to say? So there's different, but as a creative, I want to say it's a balance. You understand? You have to have a little bit of both sides. Someone like you, for instance, no one can bamboozle you on anything. Lights, audio, server,
with the tries,
rate.
with the tries.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because you already know a little bit of it. And that's what I would advise anybody that is trying to go into business, video business or creative business as well. You need to at least know a little bit of everything. And research is good, but don't get stuck in that. Absolutely. Because I feel like that's where a lot of people get stuck. Wanting to know everything. You can't know everything.
In depth of everything.
Yes, exactly. And research on the project you're working on and move on from that. You get what I'm trying to say? And then don't get stuck in your creativity. You understand?
But I think that being stuck, I think the opposite will be niching down. Because I feel that is what has worked for you, as in building a niche and staying with that niche. Because I'm sure, for instance, you do commercials, you do documentaries, you do other things, but people know you mainly for weddings because you've been able to niche that down. What do you think?
I also think like is also about trying different things and understanding your power. Like for me, I have a documentary filmmaking. So I translated that into wedding. Wedding is a love story. So there's a documentary behind wedding film. And for me, at that point, I just thought it was something that is easy I can do. When you wake me up right now and say, shoot a wedding in this corner, I will create a beautiful wedding for you. So it came natural for me. So that's why I'm a little bit successful in that area. Even though I do documentary, I do commercial, but it's something that just came natural. I didn't have to try hard.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
So, but ultimately, it's understanding your power, But how do you understand or how do you identify your power? You have to try different things to know what comes easy, as a creative. Yeah.
Absolutely. What are some earlier mistakes that you've made that have taught you a major lesson? Have you been to any of these destination weddings and something went wrong with the card or you forgot something? And if that is not happening, what are you doing to prevent that from happening?
Honestly, I would say backing up my file is one of the things I didn't pay a lot of attention to, as I was expanding. Because like I mentioned earlier, like my first year, I did one wedding, so I only have like 2 hard drive. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm good, And then the following year, I did like 5 weddings, and then I started like buying drives on every project, And then when I expanded, I think I spoke to you, and you're like, oh, Annie, you could just have a RAID and then put all your files in there and store it so that way is more like convenient and you can access it from everywhere in the world, you know. So I think that's one of the major challenges that I had, like having to, because I also use Canon, having to manage those files was very challenging. So I had to figure out a way to, like, you know, speaking to someone like you to figure out a way to, like, you know, maximize that type of risk. I would say
contract-wise, business-wise, mistake.
Yeah. So contract-wise, my contract is down packed, but I know I made a mistake in one.
At the earlier stages.
At the earlier stage, I remember I shot a wedding, in Orlando, Florida. I shot a wedding, and I remember that I think one of the card got corrupted. Yes, and I was supposed to deliver the wedding, and then when I sent it to Germany to help me like recover the file, they were charging me like a ridiculous amount of money.
Wow.
So luckily for me, it was not my angle, because my angle is usually the master angle. It was the second angle. So I was able to find a way to like just edit, and then the clients didn't actually notice. Even though after I presented the wedding and they signed off on it and they loved it, and I told them, I'm like, hey, this happened at your wedding, but you guys didn't notice, so you love it. Let's just keep it at that.
So talking about your angle and master angle, tell me about your typical formation in your wedding in terms of camera positioning or coverage.
Yeah,
how many cameras do you
I think
shoot with?
the basic wedding that I do, I usually use like 3 cameras.
Okay.
So basically on the day of the wedding, we shoot the couple simultaneously. When the bride is getting ready, there's one cinematographer. When the groom is getting ready, there's another cinematographer. So during ceremony, we'll come together, set up 3 camera, 1 master, and 2 on the opposite side of each other. So it's pretty basic.
Okay.
And then if you want to add extra jar to it, we just have like a roving camera that capture like the guests and reactions and stuff like that. So it's pretty basic and straightforward. So yeah.
That's cool. What advice would you give a young African creatives who want to break into the global space?
So the advice I would give the African creative that is trying to
break into
global space is to be fearless, to be consistent, and to be determined, and learn. Like, don't underestimate the power of learning. And the fact that the world is actually changing right now, there's AI. I would advise tap into AI, learn as much as you can, because when you're educated about a certain industry, it's hard for you to fail. So be fearless, be consistent, do your research, plan, and be determined.
Cool. So talking about AI, I mean, you guys are not a threat now. I mean, now we have the Google VO3 where people create an entire film of text prompt. I mean, you can't use AI for your wedding now. You need the actual people to show up at the event, and that's where you guys. So I think you guys are kind of like safe.
I think we're getting there, though.
How do you mean?
Yeah, we're getting there because there's an AI that will actually transcribe your video text. So if you can have AI that can transfer, I think we were talking about it the other day, and we have AI software that can actually like even edit like something like podcasts like this.
Yeah, absolutely.
You understand what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So wedding might be a little bit difficult, but if they can do that, I'm sure there's going to be a point where I can just prompt AI to say, this is this couple's love story, impute this sand, use this B-roll at 30 seconds, 40 seconds, and then, AI will just populate and then the edit will be done.
It. But the good thing is that in that case, you are still filming the content.
Yeah.
Unlike in a lot of the commercials that we're starting to see now that are start to finish AI, yeah. You have commercials start to finish AI. I'm like,
I saw a video online, and they have like a robot cinematographer.
Can you imagine?
Which
I saw that.
Yeah,
too.
I think that's kind of dumb. Just use me. Which one is robot?
Right. No, but the robot can shoot 24/7, but you still have to charge it anyway. So you can't say it doesn't get tired.
Exactly. At the end of the day, even though there's evolution of AI, I know it's still going to need human power. Because think about it, we build this stuff too. We program some of this stuff. So there's still going to be some form of, and that's why you need to equip yourself as a person to be very valuable in such a way that even if AI comes into play in every industry, you're still valuable. Someone like you, there's no industry they can put Ben, for instance, you're still going to thrive. Because if you're not eating from production, you're eating from tech. You're building server. You're building So yeah.
I hope you've picked up some gems about filmmaking, entrepreneurship, and staying true to your journey. Are there particular people you'd be interested in being part of the show? Hey, we're happy to invite them. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host, Ben Elekwachi, and until next time, keep creating, keep pushing boundaries, keep winning, keep becoming better, keep making more money. See you on the next one. Make sure you like, share, and comment. I'd like to hear what you think about all of this.